In the animal kingdom, there are the mysterious, the majestic, the cuddly, and the downright handsome. Why then are creatures like the wolf eel so unattractive? These turtles won't win any beauty contests, so why do they clean up in the skills competition? Naked mole rats aren't super cute, but could they possess superpowers? How did the nightmarish lamprey outlast the dinosaurs? And why is the Surinam toad flat as a pancake? When it comes to survival, could the big winners be the most distinct-looking creatures of them all? There are many strange-looking creatures in the Pacific Ocean, and the wolf eel is high on the list. It lives in a dark, dangerous world where you'd expect only the strongest to survive. But success can come down to an unlikely love affair. This is the last place you'd expect to find romance. But a very curious boy meets girl story plays out here. And the unlikely star is the not-so-handsome wolf eel. It lives in the shadows, baring its jagged teeth, slithering in and out of caves. It invokes nightmarish visions of mythical sea monsters. Creepy, scary-looking, and aloof. But maybe its ugly is only skin deep. Those small scales, a thick coating of slime, and a long body may give it the distinct leathery look of an eel. But the wolf eel is in fact not an eel at all. It's a fish. It can weigh as much as 18 kilograms and reach lengths of up to 240 centimeters. Because of its snake-like shape, it can squeeze its large bulk into tight, rocky spaces. But it must be careful. The slightest nick or scratch could release the scent of blood into the water and attract predators like sharks. To protect its skin, the wolf eel produces a coating of mucus, which lets it slip and slide through tight spaces. One reason it looks so fierce is a set of strong jaws so powerful it can devour hard-shelled invertebrates like sea urchins, snails, and mussels. Yet these big, slimy, ugly-looking creatures feel the need to stick close to home. For the wolf eel, its cave is its castle. Once it finds a narrow crevice it likes, it keeps it. Some have been known to stay in one cave for their entire lives. Maybe like some humans, they have issues about their looks and don't want to be seen in public. But this monstrous-looking fish is not a lone wolf. It shares its cave with a single monogamous partner, a mate for life. Come spend your life with me in my tiny crevice is hardly the hallmark of a great romance. But the wolf eel makes it work. Theirs is the epic love story of Beast and the Beast. When they find a Mr. or Mrs. Right, they form a bond that usually lasts an entire lifetime. They move in together in the same tiny den, kind of like a human couple sharing a twin bed in a closet. But wolf eels like to be close, and for good reason. Once a year, the female's belly becomes swollen with potential future baby wolf eels. The male is attentive. He nuzzles her gently until she releases the eggs into the water around them. Then, the male asks the female to dance, and they entwine in a passionate embrace, until the male's sperm fertilizes the eggs. And they stay together, aggressively defending their brood for 100 days or more. It's equal opportunity parenting, as they take turns as one goes out to feed while the other stays home, and vice versa. When the babies hatch, two proud parents watch them float out into the big blue sea. As juveniles, they look a little different for a while, almost cute. But within a few years, they end up looking just as distinctive as mom and dad. And the story repeats. Hideous boy meets homely girl. They settle down in a cave of their own and start working on unattractive offspring. For the wolf eel, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Look past the teeth, the slime and strong jaw, and you will find a heart that is not ugly. There are many strange-looking turtles in the animal kingdom, but a special few might be considered the top 3 most odd ones in the world. They are all cold-blooded and live around or in water. Their main lines of defense are like an unusual design experiment. Turtle shells are constructed as if their ribs have been fused together on the outside of their body and made into a bony plate. Standing out among all turtles, these 3 have set themselves apart for their weird ways and looks. This is a face only a mother could love. And even then, she'd probably have to try pretty hard. At number 3 on the list are snapping turtles. The common snapping turtle is on the plain side. And then there's the alligator snapping turtle, the heaviest freshwater turtle in the world. They can weigh up to 90 kilograms, have claws like a bear, can snap off a human finger with their powerful jaws. They're known as the dinosaurs of the turtle world, not only because they look prehistoric, but because they actually haven't changed all that much. Snapping turtles evolved 40 million years ago and aren't very different now from the most primitive turtles that were around 215 million years ago. At first glance, they look like mini dinosaurs too. Despite their aggressive nature, they're very slow, sedentary creatures who spend their time hanging out on river bottoms, covered in algae, waiting for food, using their worm-like tongue to bait in a fish. And when it's time to breathe, they stick their snorkel-like nose just out of the water to get the oxygen they need. At number 2 on the world's ugliest turtle list, the spiny soft-shell turtles also use their nose as a snorkel when they reach the surface. And they like to mix things up by breathing underwater. These turtles can absorb oxygen from the water around them through a membrane in their throat and through their skin. That's helpful because they live in North America, and for 6 months every year, when the climate is colder, they go into a state of brumation, which is like a mild form of hibernation. They basically get very lethargic, like a prolonged lazy Sunday. Just as their name suggests, the spiny soft-shell turtle is one of the few turtles with a soft, flexible, leathery shell that actually allows them to behave more aggressively than other species of turtle if need be, since they don't have the thick, hard shell to protect them from predators like foxes or eagles. Instead, they prefer to spend most of their time buried in sand, with just their head and neck sticking out, perfect for helping them ambush prey without working too hard. But the true master of camouflage is a turtle so ugly, it makes the snapping turtle look like a beauty queen. The mata mata from South America just looks like a log with warts. Its shell looks like tree bark, its head like fallen leaves, and it has special skin flaps that look like leaves or moss on its head, and a neck that helps it blend in. Their name, mata mata, means kill, kill in Spanish, and it's obvious that they are good at it. Mata matas can literally suck their prey right into their mouths, so don't get too close, little fishy. Unlike most other turtles, they don't bask on rocks and they don't really swim. When they do move, they kind of shuffle along the bottom of the river, but mostly they're incredibly sedentary, only leaving the water to lay their eggs once a year. Other than that, they spend their days waiting for food to swim past them. Patience comes easy when you look like a rotten log in the bottom of the river. Turtles haven't evolved much in millions of years, and not looking in a mirror all that time is apparent. But why change a winning formula when it's working for you in the survival department? Oh my, what happened to these rats? Have they been shaved for surgery? Are they diseased? Are they an experiment? Why are they so ugly? Believe it or not, these rats are just fine. More than fine, actually. These are naked mole rats, and they are well-adapted creatures. They are 7 centimeters long, and they weigh 30 to 70 grams. They have tiny little eyes, no external ears, and 2 large unsightly sets of teeth for digging, eating, and self-defense. They only wear their birthday suits because in the wilds of Eastern Africa, they live underground, so they don't need hair to protect them from the burning sun. And their tunnels can reach a toasty 30 degrees Celsius, so a warm coat would bake them. Imagine colonies of up to 300 of these exhibitionist rodents wriggling through elaborate tunnel systems, some as large as 6 football fields. There is one queen who does all of the breeding. There are also soldiers and workers. It sounds more like an ant colony than a rat pack, and that's because it is. Like ants or bees, naked mole rats are eusocial, meaning they have a queen and workers that serve that queen. They are only one of 2 mammal species that have this type of breeding structure. The other is a mole rat too. The queen spends her days being fed and fawned over by her harem of bald boy toys. The rest of the colony dig, forage for tubers, and defend against snakes that may penetrate their subterranean fortress. Incredibly, these little wrinkly balls of flesh can outlast their more familiar and urbanized rodent relatives by up to 28 years. Dig a little deeper, and these stripped-down rats have even more extraordinary qualities. They live their entire lives underground, in cave networks where carbon dioxide levels are high enough to irritate and even burn the skin and lungs of humans. In response, they have specifically evolved so they do not feel that burning pain. Their skin is adapted to have more elasticity, which allows them to move around underground even better. Even more astonishing, to date, researchers have never detected cancer in the mole rat. Its cells have anti-tumor capabilities that rodents and humans don't. Maybe that's a trade-off for being so ugly. Scientists are studying these natural nude wonders to figure out how these cells have evolved. It seems good things do come in small packages. Small, naked packages, that is. They look like creatures ripped from a gruesome horror film or another planet. Sea lampreys might look like aliens, but they're some of Earth's greatest success stories. They predate the dinosaurs and have remained largely unchanged for the past 340 million years. Slithering through the waters with its snake-like body, it is neither serpent nor eel. To travel more quickly, it has learned to attach itself to other fish or mammals to hitch a ride. And it catches a quick bite along the way, feeding like a bloodthirsty vampire. Built for draining blood, the lamprey has no jaw. Instead, it has a funnel-like mouth lined with rows of strange teeth made of keratin, the same substance that's in human fingernails. When a lamprey chooses a host, it uses its grotesque-looking suction cup mouth to attach itself. Then, using its spiked, sharp tongue, it scrapes off the scales and skin and digs its teeth into the tender flesh. With the help of little fringed structures called fimbriae, the mouth forms a perfect seal. For the surprised host, there is no escape. Resistance is futile. Now the lamprey secretes an anticoagulant called lamphedrin that prevents the wound from clotting and keeps the large blood vessels flowing. The lamprey is able to suck on its victim until it dies. But not all lampreys are bloodsuckers. Some are flesh eaters, using their teeth as pistons to tear through flesh, stripping them down to the bone. Like other natural-born killers, the lamprey is forever looking for fresh victims. On the prowl, they sometimes go where no lamprey has gone before. Up until roughly 150 years ago, the sea lamprey's main hunting ground was the Atlantic. But that all changed when workers deepened the Canadian Channel linking Lake Erie to Lake Ontario. That's when the lamprey invaded the rest of the Great Lakes. Silent but deadly, the lamprey has since decimated fish populations throughout the Great Lakes. In the case of the lake trout, only 2% of the original population remains. What makes the lamprey such a successful invader is its incredible ability to reproduce. A single female can lay up to 100,000 eggs in her lifetime. Born as larvae in rivers, baby sea lampreys bury themselves in the muck on the bottom, feeding on microorganisms there for up to 10 years, hiding, biding its time. After the larval stage, it becomes a juvenile and rises from the bottom to feed on much larger victims. For the next 12 to 18 months, the juvenile will eat up to 18 kilograms of fish, and any fish is fair game. Using a powerful sense of smell, it picks up the scent of its victims through the murkiest of waters, even several feet away. When a lamprey is in a feeding frenzy, there is no safe place to hide. The very characteristics we find ugly are why the lamprey has managed to outlast the mighty dinosaurs. With an amazing fertility rate and no natural enemies, it has become a true monster of the deep. What makes the lamprey look ugly has helped it thrive and survive. In the murky, mysterious rivers in the Amazon basin, there is a creature that lies perfectly still, disappearing into the background like a strange wallflower. It's camouflaged as a mottled brown leaf, with loose, wrinkly, pebbled skin that makes it unrecognizable. Most predators just move on by, leaving the Surinam toad undisturbed, just how it likes it. This mysterious toad has tiny eyes, no teeth, no tongue, and really doesn't move much. Why? Because it's saving its energy for something really big. When a Surinam toad does move, it is surprisingly acrobatic. And at the tip of its forefingers are star-shaped sensory organs, which help find food, because the toad's puny eyes don't help much. These sensory organs detect movement and help the Surinam toad pounce when something catches its attention. Maybe because of those tiny eyes, though, their accuracy can be a little off. When the male Surinam toad wants to get the female's attention, it sings her a song. Once the female is properly serenaded, they mate for an astonishing 24 hours, somersaulting together through the water in an impressive display of stamina. While they are clasped together, the female will lay up to 100 eggs. And here's where it gets really strange. The eggs latch onto the female's back, and her porous skin grows around them, creating a sort of honeycomb of frog eggs. It's right out of a science fiction film. It's an incredible survival tactic. Instead of exposing her eggs to predators, she hides them in plain sight right under her skin until they're fully ready to greet the world. They incubate for up to 4 months. Then they hatch by erupting from her back as fully formed toadlets, like 100 escape pods fleeing a spaceship. It's a unique adaptation that gives her offspring a fighting chance to survive. And though it may look ugly, for the Surinam toad, that's the magic of birth and the beginning of a new generation. Bald, alien, and downright mean-looking. There's not a pretty face in the bunch. But they don't care what we think about their looks. They have deeper issues to deal with, like staying alive. Because what's ugly in our eyes are some of nature's greatest survival stories.